All right, so we're doing 4.3, solving inequalities. All right, this stuff y'all are gonna like. All we're doing are examples, and then I'm setting you free because it's basically intruder alert, isolating the variable, kind of what you did yesterday, but it's instead of one step, it's two step. Y'all have done this before. Well, all we're changing is instead of an equal sign, we have an inequality sign in its place. So, go ahead and open up your books to page 154.
Oh, we're already doing the example from there?
Yes, sir. So, open up your books to page 154. Okay, we're going to jump right in with number 1. And let's see, I have 1, 2, 3. I have about 6 examples total. All right, so number 1, negative 5x plus 3 is greater than or equal to 13. All right, back like when, where's my red pen? All right, so back when we were doing regular intruder alert and solving for the variable, isolating the variable, we talked about how this is u, the x. This negative 5 is one of the intruders. It's being multiplied. Here's the other intruder. It's being added. So which one are we going to get rid of first? Raise your hand. Chap.
The 3.
That's right. We're going to get rid of this 3. We're adding. You can't add these two together. They are not like terms. Stuff you did yesterday was multiplying. You can multiply. You can't combine these. So we're going to get rid of that one first. And how do we do that, chap?
You subtract.
That's right. We're going to subtract on both sides. So now I'm left with negative 5x is greater than or equal to 10. Miranda, what do I do now?
You divide with negative 5 on each side, but since it's a negative, you gotta switch the sign.
Exactly. All right, so we're dividing negative 5 on both sides. Now, even my 7th graders, they're getting confused. They forget to bring down that negative. You guys haven't been really having problems with that. We're dividing because this operation is multiplying, so we're doing the opposite. And she's correct. Guys, pay attention. This number, Matthew, that bottom number is negative. It doesn't matter what this number is. It matters what this number is. So it's being divided by a negative. Therefore, she's correct. We're going to flip the inequality sign. So now it's x is less than or equal to negative 2. So be careful with that. That is a common mistake that if a kid sees that the 10 is maybe negative, they automatically think, oh, well, that's negative and I'm dividing, so I got to flip the sign. It's only when you're dividing by a negative, okay? And that just takes practice. Any questions about number 1? Good. Today's going to be a good day. 3, and I will prepare y'all. It's going to be a good day. You ever heard calm before the storm? Wait until tomorrow and the next day.
It'll be calm?
Today's the calm. I'm just preparing you. I even asked Dr. Gapp, said, do we have to do these 2 sections? Yes! They needed geometry and algebra 2 and blah, blah, blah.
And jumping?
I saw that section.
What the heck kind of a
Interesting.
I know.
Junctions?
Yeah.
They're
So
so weird.
I know. So, guys, enjoy today because tomorrow is going to be a little hairy. All right, so here we go. 3. And remember I said Friday's quiz is over today's stuff and yesterday's stuff.
Yes,
You can thank me later. All right, negative z over 2 plus 4 is less than or equal to 2. Valeria, once you have this written down, tell me what is the first thing I need to get rid of?
The denominator.
Not yet.
Oh,
Oh, what?
the other number.
The other intruder. Go ahead, say it. The other intruder. And that would be what number?
Subtract 4.
That's right. Since she's correct, we're going to get rid of this intruder first, not the one that's immediately attacking us. And she's right, because we're adding 4, we're going to subtract 4 on both sides. And I'm left with negative z over 2 is less than or equal to negative 2. All right, now, Matthew, what do I do?
Multiply by 2.
Multiply by this denominator. So now I can get rid of the denominator by multiplying.
Why would it be negative 2?
The negative sign typically follows the numerator. This whole fraction is negative, but typically it's going to follow the numerator. Yes?
I just made it follow the bottom number so I don't have to switch the,
You had it follow the bottom?
yeah.
Yeah, okay, so if you do it correctly, because I think, Chap, you might have done it the other way too. If you, multiply both sides by negative 2, you're still going to get the same answer. Okay? And I'll show you, I'll do both ways. So we're going to, this time, multiply both sides by positive 2. Those cancel out. And I get negative z is less than or equal to negative 4. Can I have a negative variable, boys and girls? No. So I apply it to the other side, and this sign changes, and I get positive 4. So make sure that you are writing down my arrows and everything on that. Why is it positive? Because remember, when I have a negative variable, I'm applying it to the other side. And this was negative,
Why is the 4 positive?
huh?
Why is the 4 positive?
Because this was originally negative. And so since we have a negative variable, we apply it over here, it goes to the opposite. Now, let's say, wait, before I continue, are there any questions about
I
this?
thought you times 2 by z.
When you multiply it, this cancels out. Because we're dividing here. So it doesn't even have a chance to multiply with the z because these cancel out. Now, let's pretend that, do you understand, Matthew? Okay, let's pretend like we're doing it the other way. I'm going to have negative z over 2 is less than or equal to negative 2. Now let's pretend like this negative is going to follow the 2 this time. So I'm going to multiply it by negative 2. Again, these are going to cancel out, and I'm left with a positive z. And whenever I'm multiplying by a negative, because that is a negative, it doesn't matter about that 2. It matters about what you're multiplying it by. This one right here. This sign will flip, and I get a positive 4. So either way is fine. You will get the same answer. I've had students and even adults say one way is right and one way is wrong, but if done right, you'll get the same answer like every time. Any questions? Does everyone have this written down? Anyone? Miranda, you still writing?
No, you're good.
Are you sure? So, are there any questions about this? Okay. Matthew, I'm worried. Do you understand that when you're dividing, if you multiply to the opposite, that they cancel out? Okay, good. All right, let's do 7. If not, Matthew, you can ask me later and I'll help you again. All right, 7. We have 2/3 z plus 5 does not equal 25. Franz, what is the first thing I'm going to do?
Move the positive 5 to the other side.
Okay, so he's correct. We're going to get rid of this intruder first.
And that'll be -5 to both sides.
Very good.
Is
So
it 2.5?
25.
is it 25? Yeah, it's 25. My handwriting is terrible. Okay, so we're subtracting 5 on both sides since we're adding in the original problem. And I get 2/3 z does not equal 20. Okay. Any questions before we move on? All right, so what's the next intruder, Sophia? 2/3. This whole fraction is the next intruder. What operation is taking place with the z, Sophia? Multiplication. So what's the opposite?
Dividing.
So we're going to divide both sides by 2/3. These cancel out. And Matthew, how should I write this out? What comes first, the 20 or the 2/3?
The 20.
Very good. So 20 is being divided by 2/3. So I'm going to do 20 over 1 divided by 2/3. Miranda, you have a question?
How do you know whenever to do a whole fraction or just to take the denominator?
Well, because there's not a letter in the numerator. See, like this one right here was a z over, okay, you got it, okay. All right, so guys, I cannot stress the importance of writing the 20 first. You will get a wrong answer if you do 2/3 first. So 20 is being divided by 2/3. All right, so what is the rule? Huh?
Keep, change, flip.
Keep, change, flip. So I'm going to keep the 20 over 1. And what do I change the division? Multiply. And I flip this to 3 over 2.
And then you can simplify.
I can do that cancellation right there, right? 2 becomes what?
1,
And 20 becomes?
10.
So then we multiply across. And what do you get?
30 over 1.
Which is just 30. So then z does not equal 30. Any questions? Yes.
I had a mistake, like I did a mistake by getting rid of the denominator first, but I still got the same answer.
Okay, so let's say, let's go back to 2/3 z does not equal 20. Whoops. So what they're saying they did is they got rid of the denominator first. So what did you do? Multiply both sides by 3. Because after all, we are multiplying right there. Those cancel out. And you get 2z does not equal 60. So then to isolate the z, we divide both sides by 2. And z does not equal 30.
You can always do it that way.
Yeah, you can. There's multiple ways of doing it. So I would write both of those down in your notes. Any questions?
It throws me off when you use the thing does not equal. So I don't see where it's needed because you go through all that trouble to find out what one number it's not equal to.
Well, I understand, that's
Why
algebra.
would somebody create?
The question is why.
What occupation?
Okay,
anything?
we'll talk about occupations another time. Does everyone have this down?
Yes, ma'am.
Alright, next one, 13. I have negative 6r plus 3 is less than or equal to negative 5r minus 2r plus 6. So Morgan, what would be the first thing I would do?
Combine negative 5r and negative 2r into negative 7r.
So we're combining like terms.
Right.
Combine like terms first. And she's correct. You'll get negative 6r plus 3 is less than or equal to negative 7r plus 6. Make sure you have all of this written down.
Wait.
Okay, we can wait.
Okay.
Morgan, what do I do next?
Well, I moved negative 7r.
How did you do
on the
that?
other side. I did the opposite and added 7r.
Alright, so she added 7r to both sides, and we are combining like terms since we're adding and subtracting. So those cancel out, and what did you get?
R or 1r.
R or 1r, we can either one, plus 3 is less than or equal to 6. Any questions yet? Alright, Morgan, what do you do now?
Minus subtract 3 on both sides.
Subtract 3 on both sides. And we get 1r is less than or equal to, bless you, 3. And you can just write it as r. Any questions? All right, y'all have it down? I got 2 more to go, and they're a little challenging. Let's look at 21. 11 over 16c minus 1 over 6 is less than or equal to 7 over 12c plus 5/8. Chap, what would be the first thing I do?
Subtract the 7 over 12c from the c.
Okay, so he's subtracting 7 over 12c because we're moving the whole thing. So that's why we're not dividing. We want the whole thing over. Now, over here off to the side, can I subtract? What do I have to do?
Get like denominators.
Get common denominators. So I have 11 over 16 minus 7 over 12. Chap, do you know what a common denominator for these two would be?
48.
All right, 48. Y'all staying up? Okay, so how many times 16 going to 48?
3 times.
So 3 times 11 is?
33.
How many times 12 going to 48?
4 times.
So 7 times 4 is?
28.
So what do you end up getting?
5 over 48.
Very good. And C. So over here, I'm going to write 5 over 48C minus 1/6 less than or equal to 5/8. So I'm going to pause right there to make sure you all have this down and understand. Are there any questions?
Would you be good at?
Yes.
Want to get rid of the one that doesn't have the name or letter? No, no.
Are you good? Okay. All right, so chap, now what do I need to do?
You need to get rid of the 1/6.
And how do I do that?
Add it to both sides.
All right, so I'm adding 1/6 to both sides. Over here again, I'm going to do 5/8 plus 1/6. Got to get a common denominator again, so chap, what would that be?
24.
How many times does 8 go into 24?
3 times.
And 3 times 5 is?
15.
How many times 6 go into 24?
4 times.
And 4 times 1 is? And what do you get?
19 over.
Alright, so now I have 5/48c is less than or equal to 19/24. Am I done though? What do I do?
You divide 5/48 by itself and yes.
So I'm dividing both sides by 5/48. So I'm going to draw this line here so I don't get confused, because I'm making a mess. So I have 19/24 is being divided by 5/48. Can I do, what do I need to do?
Flip it.
Okay, so I have 19/24 times 48/5. Can I do any cancellation?
Yes.
What?
24 and 48 by
What does this become?
1,
What does this become?
2.
Multiply across. And what is my C? 38/5. Wasn't that fun? Hopefully y'all had more space than I did.
I used almost the whole page.
I would have too. I should have done that. Yes, ma'am.
Could you, where you like divide the whole fraction, could you have done the other thing where you divide the denominator? Or multiply the denominator?
Yeah, you could have multiplied both sides by 48. Yes.
If the sign, like, either greater or less than, or equal to, greater or something like
Uh-huh.
that, is have to not equal to over it. If you multiply or divide by negative, will you still flip it?
No, there's no. Okay, she had a good question. Let's say, does everyone have this down?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's say it's -5x does not equal, I don't know, 10. Okay? She's saying if you divide by a negative, technically you're supposed to flip that inequality, right? You're not flipping it. It doesn't change.
What if the sign was a greater and
Then,
then
if it's greater than and equal to, then it becomes less than and equal to.
I would have to slash over?
That's like not greater than or equal.
Oh, the negated stuff?
Yeah. It has it down here on C actually.
I know, that's the part in 1 that we skipped. You don't need to worry about that. You don't need to worry about that. I'm not giving y'all that. Don't worry about it. All right, last one. 23. Keith. -7 times D minus 1 plus D is greater than 9 minus 2D. What do I do? Very good. We're going to do distributive first. So what do you get when you're done writing down, Keith? Tell me what you get.
-7 plus 7 plus D is greater than 9 minus 1.
Very good. Remember, this is -7 times -1, so it's a +7. All right, now Keith, what do I do? Yep. So -7D and +1D. What do you get, Keith? Very good. -6D plus 7 is greater than 9 minus 2D. Now what do I do?
Add 2D on both sides.
Perfect. And what do you get?
-4D plus 7 is greater than 9.
All right, now what do I do?
Subtract 7 on both sides.
And you get -4D is greater than what?
2.
And now what do I do?
Divide -4 on both sides.
We're dividing -4 on both sides. Now what do I get?
D is less than -0.5.
Negative what?
0.5.
Okay, -0.5 or -0.5. Look, notice he switched the sign because, or the inequality because of this negative. So you could have D is less than -0.5, or like he said, D is less than -0.5. Either one. Good. Any question? All right. So y'all are doing page 155 to 156. Actually, yeah. Twelve through 24 even. 40, 42, 48. Fourteen through 24 even. 33, 40, 42, 48. This is due Wednesday.
We'll do tomorrow.
Right. IXL's due Monday. You have a quiz Friday.
And this is 100% quiz.
What?
This is gonna be 100% not probably.
That there's going to be a quiz on Friday? Yes, there's going to be a quiz on Friday.
We did probably yesterday.
Well, I'm not telling you there is going to be one.
I think